Friday is Valentine's Day. And I know some people love Valentine's Day and some people hate it. I know it's a Hallmark holiday, but I love it. And you should know that I am a hopeless romantic. When I was younger, I never dreamed of getting married or having kids. That was just not what I dreamed about for my future. But I did dream about having an epic love story. I've read a lot, watched a lot of great movies, and that was it for me. That was the dream, an epic, epic love story. And it is part of the reason, just part, that I love listening to erotica, actually, because the good ones all have an amazing love story at the core. The good ones, the bad ones don't, and I actually don't like them as much, despite how good those other scenes might be. For me, it really is all about that love story. So I have a question for you. If you could imagine the greatest love story for your life, what would it look like? And here's part two. How can you create that in your life? Now, I'd say that my hubby and I have a pretty great love story. And I think there's so many reasons why, but part of it is because we started our relationship in a clandestine way. We worked together. And while it wasn't off limits for us to be dating, we didn't want anyone to know because we just didn't want it to change the way people looked at us. We didn't want it to impact our careers. So we really had this secret love affair. And then, so we met in New York and he was transferred to Boston. It had been in the works prior to us starting to date. And so we did long distance for a while. And I think there was something about that longing and that excitement of being together that was so fun and so thrilling. And we've managed to keep a piece of that alive after 22 years together and 18 years of marriage. But it is not an accident that we've made that happen. We really like each other and we really focus on keeping the romance alive by doing our date nights and just trying to keep it sexy and flirt and sexting each other and all the things. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is not romantic all day, every day. We live in reality, people. And it can be hard when you're raising kids and you get to know every single thing about your partner. But we keep each other on our toes. I think part of it is where we are similar in very important ways, but we are very, very different. And I think that keeps it exciting. But here is something unexpected that I discovered turning 40. And this is applicable for all of you, for those of you who do not have a romance, for those of you who are in one that feels a little bit lackluster, because this isn't actually about that. What I discovered turning 40 is that I became my own best love story. And that is what I want for you. They say that the older you get, the more confident you become and the less you care about everything, certainly about what people think of you. You just care less. And they say the better the sex gets. And all of this has been true for me. And do I think you have to wait until you're in your 40s to get there? Not necessarily, but I do think that there is just a wisdom that comes with time and experience that you can't get when you're younger, at least for me. But a piece of that, a piece of getting there is you really have to fall in love with yourself, because I think if you don't necessarily naturally get more confident. I think you do naturally care less. That I do think, because you just have life experience to know what is important and what is worth stressing about and what is not. But the other pieces you really do need to work on. And this is where self-development work really comes in. Change the things about yourself you want to change. Like, you're old enough now, you have the power, you have the ability to change them. And this one is equally as important, accept the things about yourself that you won't change, not that you can't change, but accept the things about yourself that you won't change, because there is no point in having something about yourself or your life that you don't like and beating yourself up about it and having that negative inner monologue and then not doing anything about it. You have the choice. You can do something about it, or you can not do something about it. But if you're not going to do anything about it, then accept it and stop complaining about it and stop making it a negative thing. There are things about myself that I thought I would be or do or have by this age, and I don't, primarily because of my own doing. And so those are things that I just have had to let go because I don't want to spend any more time beating myself up over not being that person or not having that thing or not doing that thing. I actually don't want it badly enough to do it, or I would, and I'm not. So I need to let it go. So I think when we turn 40, we have this incredible opportunity to look very honestly at ourselves and say, do the actions that I take, do the choices I make build the love story of my life, or do they not? And where they are not, do I want to change those things about me, or do I want to let go of that dream? As Miley Cyrus says, we can buy ourselves flowers. We can do all the things for ourselves. And I always say that no one treats me better than myself, which in some ways is true. And I have a husband that treats me very, very well. And still, I am always making sure that I am taking care of myself, with one big exception. The one area that this has not been true has been with my inner critic. Really, truly, no one speaks more meanly to me than I speak to myself. And with all the work that I've done, this is the one area that has been, I don't want to say the hardest. It has just taken the longest because it just takes a lot of time and effort to undo. But I would never be in a relationship with someone who speaks to me the way I've spoken to myself in the past. And so I am actively working on changing that. So as Valentine's Day approaches, what do you want as part of your love story? What do you want? For Friday night, what do you want? Is it all about creating an amazing night of self-care? Do you want to make yourself a bubble bath and light a candle and order in a delicious meal? And you can do it totally solo if you like, even if you have a partner. Tonight is your night to think about you. Or do you want to plan a sexy date night with your partner? Or better yet, ask that your partner plan one for you. If that is what you want, you have to ask for what you want. People are not mind readers as much as we wish they were. They cannot read our minds. And I know, and when I was younger, I used to feel this way too. It's like, well, if you don't know, if I have to tell you, then I don't want the thing. I don't want it if I have to tell you. That was very much my mentality for a while. And then I realized asking for what you want and need is a very mature way to communicate, and it doesn't make it any less special. Because the truth is, what I want is different all the time. It fluctuates. If I don't even know what I want, how can someone else know what I want? So if there is something specific that you want, ask for it. But here is what I also know. Most women that I know are so sick of being in control all the friggin' time that we just want to be dominated in the bedroom, maybe elsewhere, and swept off our feet. And not to be impressed, but so that we can just let our guard down and not be the one orchestrating and controlling every single thing. So if you have a spouse or a partner who needs the memo, send him or her this episode, and you can tell them fast forward to about 9 minutes in. This is the message for you. Or no, I guess a little bit before what I just said, right? But it's true. Most of us are so controlling because we feel like we have to be. It is our role. We carry the mental load. We are the one conducting the orchestra, making sure that everything runs smoothly. And we just want to give up control. We want you to sweep us off our feet. We want you to dominate us in the bedroom. We want you to plan a date night for us. Most of our partners don't realize how hard it is for us to get in the mood when we are planning everything for everyone. We have nothing left for ourselves. And then our partners can feel like they're getting the short end of the stick when it's not that we're like, we don't want to give them anything. It's that we just have nothing left for ourselves. And when we are wined and we are dined and we are taken care of, we have so much more to give. If you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Last week, I shared with you that my theme for 2025 is fun. And part of a fun life for me is date nights and having a great sex life and feeling lit up in all of the ways. And a piece of that is falling in love with myself and giving myself what I need in all the ways. This is not that kind of episode, people. No, but it really is also asking for what I want and getting clear on what I want. The better I treat myself, the better I take care of myself, the higher standards I have for how everyone around me is going to be treated. So really think about this. How can you become your greatest love story? How can you fall in love with yourself? How can you treat yourself more kindly? How can you think better thoughts? How can you take better care of yourself? It really does start with you. You're the one. Go do it. Go do all those things for yourself. And if taking care of others makes you feel great, then by all means, go take care of others. Maybe you are the one that wants to plan the date night. But if you are not the one that wants that, then ask for what you want and what you need. I know most partners appreciate being cued in on what exactly it is that we want. And most are happy to oblige. And if they are not, well, two things. Can you work on that relationship in meaningful ways? Or perhaps that's not a relationship you need to be in anymore. And it is time for you to really pursue you and what you do want. In case no one tells you on Friday, you are sexy and you are gorgeous and you are amazing, go do something nice for yourself. And don't be shy to ask for what you want. If you want more specifics on dating your spouse, I actually did a whole episode on this. It was episode 14, which I will link in the show notes because that is a piece of what I'm talking about today for Valentine's Day, but it's just a small piece of it. The bigger takeaway for you is fall in love with yourself, become your own greatest love story, and do not feel selfish about it. We can't pour from an empty cup. So this week and this Valentine's Day, I want you to be thinking just about you and how spectacular you are. And I hope you have an incredible Valentine's Day and go make today a great day.